What's going on, guys? This is Keegan and Joel from Punishers Paintball here. Today we are doing a G-Tech 170R versus Dye DSR.
If you guys like this video, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms, and as always, shop at punisherspb.com. Alrighty guys, so here we have the Dye DSR. I'm going to be making the argument that the Dye DSR is the better of the two. Keegan, what do you got?
I have the Planet Eclipse G-Tech 170R. Personally, I think that this is the better of the two.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So what we're going to do with this, guys, is we're going to dissect every portion of this of both these markers and kind of explain which part between the feed neck, the bolt system, the barrel, and all that stuff, which one we believe is better. And then we're going to give you overall impressions and why we feel that way. So first things first, Keegan, you want to rush right into things and talk about the bolt system? Okay,
the
go
core
ahead.
of the gun. Let's start off with the bolt cap and the bolt system. So on the DSR, how do you take out the bolt?
So there's a button on the back of the Dye DSR, and basically you have a really nice milled out portion here. You just press that button and then it releases. Pull the bolt system out. The arc bolt system for the Dye DSR operates at a whopping 115 psi.
That's pretty good.
Just saying, beat you there, but needless to say, 115 psi, super smooth shooting gun. One of the biggest selling points of the Dye DSR is that it's very reliable and shoots super smooth. Keegan, what about you? What do you got?
So for the Planet Eclipse 170R, you have the bolt cap here that you just pull up on and then slide the bolt out. This is the standard gamma bolt featured in the EMEC and the ETHA 2 as well. This bolt system operates at a pressure of 135, so the DSR does have it beat there. However, with the Gamma Core bolt, you can now actually get the ST3 bolt, which is the CS2 soft tip bolt for the Gamma Core bolt system.
That's a very good point. It's an upgradable feature. Retails at $59.95. Now, I'd also make the argument that you can get the flex face bolt system for the Dye DSR. So they both have upgradable bolts, which is really nice. What about the barrel system?
Barrel system, personally, I would probably say that you have me beat.
Okay.
The Dye barrel system, the UL barrel system, is a fan favorite between so many people.
It is, absolutely.
And you can get extra backs for that barrel versus I've honestly never seen extra backs sold for the shaft.
That's correct. So this comes with a 688 back. It is the UL barrel system, so it's very quiet. The porting and everything else like that makes it a super smooth shooting, sounding gun. It's autococker thread. That is a 689, right?
Correct. 689 autococker thread. 14.5-inch barrel.
Yep. So pretty standard across the two. I would say the reason why you say that the UL is probably, I would say sound signature is probably the main thing with the UL barrel system. But the shaft isn't a bad barrel system. But like you said, you can't.
Yeah, the main thing with the shaft barrel system is that, to my knowledge, you can't get extra backs. So you wouldn't be able to go get a 685 or a 681 barrel back for the shaft system. You would have to upgrade the entire barrel.
Right. So that's definitely a major turn off for the 170Rs, that you can't do that. Whereas with my trusty Dye DSR, you can. So All right. Battery. Say you need to change your battery. Pretty standard for both of these. I would say that your 170R probably has a beat by a little bit. The reason I say that is because with the Dye DSR, you actually have to turn you have to turn this knob here to pull this off to change your 9-volt battery. This also takes a 9-volt battery, and Keegan, there you go.
All you got to do is slide it off for the 170. So beat, but ever so slightly, and then you just have your 9-volt there.
And while we're here, why don't we talk about eyes real quick? Is the other thing. So Dye DSR, you can't access your eyes simply, but Dye, the way that Dye advertises this is that with the eye cover, which I'll show that to you here real quick. But basically, it's a plastic cover that covers the eye system, so that theoretically you should never get paint on your eyes, and it's basically a self-cleaning system. The major issue being with the Dye eye covers is that they're plastic, so over a period of time they tend to break. But super simple, you just pull this out. As you can see there, I believe they come with the Gen 4. It looks like the Gen 4 eye pipe now.
Correct.
And you just slide it right back in, and that is very nice. But needless to say, I would say that you've probably got a B, because if something goes wrong with this, and I actually have to go in there and clean my eyes, and I actually have to fully take the eyes apart, that's an issue.
Yeah, for the G-Tech 170R, it's just a simple, you slide off your front grip like you would to access the battery, and then there's actually a little slide there that you would just take off, and that's your eye cover. It has the kind of mirrored effect that a lot of Planet guns feature for the actual eye system, and then you can just clean your eyes there, no problem. So I personally would prefer this. It's a lot easier, and you can clean it every time and make sure that your eyes are good. But a lot of people do like the DSR.
Yeah, I'd say it's an innovative design. I think the biggest problem with the eye pipes is that you have to replace them if they go bad, and I think they're like $20 for a Gen 4 eye pipe. So, what about trigger?
So trigger, both feature just a standard blade trigger. For the G-Tech 170R, you have a 5-point adjustable blade trigger, and it is upgradable. Lots of places sell aftermarket triggers. Infamous probably being the biggest one out of any of the companies. They sell a few different styles and colors of triggers.
That's correct. So you can get an S-style trigger. It's the same trigger system that's accepted with the CS1 platform of guns.
Yeah.
So anything that would fit a CS1, Infamous sells the 1R deuce trigger for it, which is really nice, but you can get the S-style trigger, I think, directly from Planet Eclipse. Correct. Which is nice. So you have multiple different designs that you can go with the trigger.
Yeah, and it's very simple to take off. You would just take off your grips, and you have one bolt that just holds it on. So it's simple. You don't have to take apart any of the actual trigger mechanism.
Okay. I'm going to say that the Dye DSR takes this. I love the feel of this blade trigger. Biggest issue is that there's not like a ton of upgradability when it comes to the DSR as compared to the 170R. But I really do like how this feels. I think it feels better. It's a little bit thinner of a trigger than the 170R, which is what I like about it. I like thin triggers. And it just feels better in my opinion compared to that. But
the one thing that I will say, I know that a few people do 3D print Dye DSR triggers.
Yeah.
And they make them in a deuce, as well as I believe there might be an S-shaped trigger out there.
That's correct.
But it's not as easily acquirable as, let's say, just a 1R deuce trigger.
That's correct. I think two other things that we need to address will be the ASA. So ASA.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to argue with you that you've got the better ASA.
Yeah.
I hate this ASA, but I will say this. You can get the Slaps ASA from Dye, which I think is the best ASA overall. So you can get that for the Dye DSR, which is a game changer in my opinion. But this is just like, I don't like it. I've seen it break off. It's a piece of plastic right here, and I think for that $925 to the $975, it should just be better.
Yeah, it's very flimsy. It's also, if you're trying to put it under pressure, it's very difficult to actually get it fully into place.
Yeah, right.
Because you have to get it past that locking point.
Yep.
Versus the G-Tech 170R is just a simple pops ASA like any other Planet gun. You would just strap on your tank and just press it in. Easy enough. Yep. So definitely 170R takes
both ASAs just pop off to access the regulator, so there's really not much different there.
Correct.
Both hoseless designs, obviously. And then the board system, I actually probably prefer the Dye DSR board system because it's audible. I really like the fact that it chirps on, chirps off, which is really nice. Adjustability and all that stuff is going to be relatively similar between the two. We'll show you guys some B-roll as far as us turning them on, both turn them on and turn them off and everything else like that. What do you think? Which one wins this?
I think it comes down to preference of which one you like. Personally, I'm used to the Planet boards, so I like the Planet more, but I've never really used Dye all that much. So
okay, I'd say using both. The interface is it's good. I'd say the other thing too is I really like the feel of the Dye DSR compared to the 170R. I think it feels better. I like the UL frame. For those of you that may not know what the UL frame is, it's this hourglass shape. So it fits really well in the hands. Very comfortable. The grips just pop off toollessly, which is really nice.
They're not toolless. I know. You have this pin and this
Excuse
pin.
me. Okay, so I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. So both of these, you're going to have to use Allen keys for the trigger frame grip. And one thing that with the trigger frame and the feel of it is that you can get different color grip kits for the 170R.
You can.
For
they
$30.
make, what is it? White, tan, red, blue. I think
Correct.
is all the colors.
Yep. So definitely an upgradable feature that's nice about the 170R.
Yeah, it is. The biggest thing to me that I would say that we haven't touched on is the space of the actual like trigger frame and how spread out it is.
Okay.
Personally, there isn't enough space for me here.
Okay.
Because I like to wrap my thumb into it.
Okay.
And that's probably my biggest point against the DSR. So.
Okay.
For a lot of people, it's not a big thing, but for me, that's a pretty big thing.
Gotcha. Last thing I think we need to cover out of all of this is going to be the feed neck.
Yep.
I think that the Dye feed neck wins this 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I understand that, like, here's my thing. I understand that with the feed neck on this one, you can take it off and it's got the lever, the lever has the turn knob right there. Yeah, that's nice. I just like how this one is designed. It's a little bit lower. It is more aesthetically pleasing in my opinion. It's just easier to operate in my opinion compared to that. But
I think that it looks better, but I really like having the thumb wheel there. I think that it's just easier to adjust than having to kind of finagle it around trying to tighten it.
Yeah. So for what Keegan's referring to is to tighten this one and to loosen this one, you actually loosen it and rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise to tighten it up and release it. So,
all right, guys. So the last thing that we have to talk about here is the price point. For the G-Tech 170R, the price point of I believe all of their markers, even the Infamous Edition, not the Predator, but the just standard Infamous Edition, are $799.95, being the cheaper of two, and the DSR is at what, Joel?
So anywhere from $924.95 to $974.95, depending upon the different anodizing job.
Gotcha. So overall, personally, I think that the G-Tech 170R takes it. I think that for the price point and the upgradability of this marker, it takes the DSR in the battle between the two.
So my argument, counter argument to that would be that I think that the DSR feels significantly better in the hands. You're paying for the quality of Dye paintball guns. I think that the Dye DSR has been proven to be a very reliable platform, and I think that I just love the shot of the DSR significantly more than the 170R, and that's why I would choose the Dye DSR over the 170R. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There's a comparison video between the Dye DSR and the Planet Eclipse 170R. If you're interested in either one of these markers, head on over to punisherspb.com to purchase. Or if you have a marker that you'd like to trade in for, we also take trade-in submissions. So head on over to our website. Up at the top there is a trade-in tab. And as always,
make sure to follow us on all social media. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next one.